Everybody, this is Derek and Stephanie Evelo with the Evelo Team at Keller Williams. And today we are going to talk about new construction. And I wanted to head up this talk today just because Stephanie and I have been in the business for 25 years now. And I have always helped clients in new construction since I first got in the business. When we moved to Fishers back in 1997, there were only 10,000 people in Fishers. And I helped lots and lots of people, hundreds of people over those 25 years build in the Fishers area and surrounding areas. And we just thought it'd be a good thing to talk about new construction today. Just to kind of give you a little insight on Stephanie and I, we've built 4 times ourselves. So we love new construction. I love new things. I love things with full warranties and you're possibly not inheriting somebody else's problem. Which is why I've always kind of been leaning towards new construction for over all these years. So I've got 2 of my team members here with us, Terrance and Bob. I want to let them introduce themselves and tell you guys a little bit about their backgrounds. So Terrance, take it away.
Terrance Perkey, been on the Evelo team for about 5 years now and just went through a full remodel gut of my own home.
And Bob Woerner, also a senior realtor partner with the Evelo team, and I've been with Derek and Steph for a little over going on 7 years now. And like Derek said, the home I live in, I built 13 years ago, and I tend to varies a little bit from year to year, but help about 5 to 6 clients each year with new construction projects.
Fantastic. So we'll dive right in. So to start with, why would someone choose new construction over a pre-existing home? I guess one of you guys take it away from there.
Yeah, I mean, I can start and then maybe Terrance can fill in some gaps. Derek, I think you said it kind of at the beginning. Oftentimes when I meet with a prospective buyer for the first time, as long as they're looking in an area geographically that offers new construction, it's something that I always want them to consider and think about. As you mentioned, in a new home, everything is brand new: air conditioner, roof, appliances, water heater. So you potentially might pay a little bit more up front, but you're basically guaranteed that you're not going to have any unexpected expenses in that first 10 to 15 years of the life of the home. And I think when people are maybe a little bit more strapped for liquid cash, or even if they're not, that's just a nice thing. Plus, ultimately, right, you get to pick everything that you want: colors, choices, flooring choices, cabinet choices, etc.
And one good thing to go off of that, Bob, is I've always thought of new construction being the latest and greatest as far as floor plans go. And of course, over the years when I first started, a lot of builders built homes that were real boxy and had a separate living room and a separate dining room and a separate kitchen and a separate great room, where today everybody that seems to build the kitchen flows right into the great room and it's all one gigantic room, and that's just what people like. So when people build, they're getting the latest and greatest of what the majority of the population wants today. So when they go to resell that house 5 to 10 years from now, they've still got a relative product that's can easily be resold. So Terrance, what's your thoughts?
Why would someone choose new construction versus existing?
I think right now with the market is just such a seller's market. I mean, you have an opportunity to actually pick the selections in your house and not overpay for them. With every house that goes under contract right now is a fist fight. So it's nice to not have to fight over all the attributes of a property that you may not be in love with, and actually be able to design and pick a property that you do love for a good price. It takes a little bit longer, but then like Bob and Derek was saying, you have all the warranties, and when you go to sell it, your roof, if it's a 30-year shingle, it might be 10 years old, still got 20 years left on it. There's a lot of attributes of that new construction feel that you're going to like as well, just like what Derek was saying about the floor plans. I mean, there's some floor plans that I wouldn't even think would be like in a house. Then you walk through and it's like, man, this is sweet. The way everything flows well together and the way the life is lived in the house is really coming up in the last 5 years. And so the way that they're designing these houses to have really cool flow is just fun. Where you walk in and people are almost awestruck, not by the granite and the quartz, but the views and the look and the layout and the flow of the property. And I think that's really fun to be able to pick that.
Awesome. Next question. How does the process work, Bob?
Yeah, so for me, it is often a topic of discussion that first time I get to meet with a buyer. The most important thing is if new construction is going to come into play at all, even if you're just out and about on the weekend, that's fine. You see a new construction neighborhood, they obviously have models there that you can walk through. You'll be introduced to a builder rep. The key thing is we want to be your ally that's aligned with you throughout the process. So anytime you go to a builder, one of the very first things they're going to ask you to do is fill out their registration or their information card. And on that card, either somewhere at the front or the back, it's going to have a question that's going to say, are you working with a realtor? Yes and no, yes or no, and what's their name, right? So again, it's no big deal if you're just out cruising around on the weekend, you're looking at neighborhoods and you stop by. But just make sure if you're working with us or soon to be working with us that you mark yes and put our name down. And then we can definitely be assured to be able to help you throughout the process. And, you might go to a few different communities like that where you're just walking through really quickly. And then kind of after that, then that's when we would probably go out to that community together and start to take some next steps.
Excellent, excellent. And how long does it usually take from start to finish for the build? You guys want to expand on that? Terrance, what are your thoughts?
It depends if they're caught up. If they're caught up, then you're 5 to 7 months normally. Sometimes there's a lag time up front. There could be a month or two they're waiting to build, but most times 5 to 7 months you can get into a property. There's also a lot of spec homes out there as well, that they're new construction properties that you may love everything about a flow and a layout, and they could be done with it in a month or two, because they're building them with the expectations that there's going to be a buyer that's going to come out and buy it. So, when you're looking for new construction, those are definitely the options that we've run through to make sure there's not a spec, because there could be a spec that you love everything about the property already and it's done. You can move in in another week or two with the same warranties and all that good stuff.
Yeah. The only other thing I would add to that, and Terrance is definitely right, that 5 to 7 months is more of the timeline for like the production builders in our community, in our neighborhoods. That's where it's one builder or maybe a 2 or 3 that have gone in and they've developed the entire community. If you were looking to potentially do something on your own lot or acquire a lot or do a custom build, you might be looking more at a year, maybe a little bit longer, just kind of depending on how long it takes for you to make some decisions up front.
Excellent, excellent. And what role do we play as agents, and how much does it cost a buyer to use us? Terrance?
It costs you nothing. We're here just
that's the most common question we get asked, right? Everybody thinks, gosh, is it going to cost you more to use an agent, right? So how much does it cost someone to use an agent to help them build?
It does not cost you anything. And I mean, our job is there just to facilitate and to make sure everything is going smoothly and that you're, I've had a lot of clients go into new construction and they put unnecessary things in properties, but they miss out on some items that might be very big. And so from a resale standpoint, so, we're here just to guide those decisions and make sure you're getting a good deal. Obviously, we're helping negotiate with the builders up front and during the process. And just here to kind of walk through what we've done many times and make sure everything goes smoothly.
And I do think sometimes a lot of people have a hard time believing it truly doesn't cost anything for us to represent them on a build. But the fact is, all the builders have our commissions built into the base price of their homes. So whether they walk in by themselves to build with the builder or they have one of us representing them, it costs the same amount. And we've got all the years worth of expertise in helping people pick the proper options to put in their home so that when they call us down the road to resell that house, we can get it resold for them because it's got all the options in there that they need to have. So
yeah, the only thing I would add to that too, it's just, the experience. We talked about helping to pick out the right options, those things that are easy to do at a new build, right? Like I always encourage people to put in can lights everywhere they can, right? No one wants a dark drab house, and that's a little bit harder to retrofit, where at the end of the day you could always go switch out counters or you could switch out flooring, and you're going to do that every few years anyway. But thinking about the structural things up front, right? You don't want to go tearing holes into walls, or you might not be able to put them in a second story, that kind of thing. And then just also understanding what the process is like. At the end of the day, construction is a messy process. Understand that right from the get-go. Mistakes are going to be made. We're there to help, make sure those mistakes are corrected. You got to give the builder the chance to correct those mistakes. But we're just another insulator there to help you have that dialogue with the builders. Like personally, when I have a client that's building, I'm out there multiple times during the building process, right? Obviously, with my experience and knowledge, and Terrance and anyone else on our team that works in new construction, there's things that to look for, keep your eyes out for, and I kind of keep a running list of notes. Additionally, we would always recommend that you hire a private inspector during the new construction process. So that's another set of eyeballs. They usually do like a 3-stage inspection. They'll come out when the foundation is done. They'll come out prior to drywall going up. So that means all the electrical, plumbing fixtures are in, but drywall is not on the wall yet. And then they'll come and do that right before that final walkthrough with you. So that just helps you develop a list, your kind of punch list to give to the builder.
Yeah, I was just going to add, and Bob, you totally hit on it, because so often, I do all this, most of the selling side. So when I'm going to list a property where they've maybe built and they didn't pick out the right things to compete in their neighborhood for when they do go for resale, how often they maybe put in a basement, but they forgot to put an egress window in, or they over upgraded on some upgrades. And so then now they think they're going to get, $25,000 more because of all the money they put into it, when in reality, the rest of the neighborhood did not have granite countertops, or, didn't have, luxury bath, master bath, or whatever that might be. And so then now they've over upgraded. So it can go both ways, right? Of either making sure you do have the upgrades that the rest of the neighborhoods do have, and then the other homes in the neighborhood, or making sure you didn't forget something. So yeah, I think those are key points of where experience and knowledge and expertise would bring that to the table to help someone making sure that it's not only a good investment now, but for long-term resale.
Well, and to piggyback off that, certain price ranges honestly demand certain options. The higher the price range, there are certain things that you have to have in your home in order to compete for future resellability. And keep in mind, as the client is in the middle of all this, they're so emotionally charged with everything going on, they sometimes just kind of oversee things where we have to be the ones to totally put our resale goggles on for 5, 10, 15 years down the road and make sure that our folks are putting in the necessary structural items that cannot be changed once the home is built, and put those options in up front.
Yeah.
So you're going to be the voice of reason.
There you go.
And I would add one other thing there that we didn't talk about is helping with that lot selection as well.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
Yep.
big.
How easy it is to sell a home that's at the back of the neighborhood on a cul-de-sac with a wooded lot versus the lot that's right at the entrance to the neighborhood, right?
Or a corner lot, or
Right. But if you haven't had experience with that before, that might not be something you're thinking about. That often comes with a lot premium, so you might have to make choices. Maybe you can't get that lot that's fully wooded and all the way in the back, but maybe there's another lot with a smaller premium that's better than the one without, and it's worth it to make that $5,000 investment now, because that could mean 10 or 15 when it comes to resale.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And with everything going on right now, what changes do you see happening in the new construction arena? Like discounts or incentives or anything? Can you both talk about that?
I've been getting more phone calls from sales reps that, they're looking to make a deal. And it's crazy because, they were kind of cutting down on all the perks and the benefits like 2 months ago. And I just got a new construction house under contract, and the commission and all that was lower, which is okay, whatever, I get it. We're in a 30-year low inventory, so everything's selling. So, it's they're feeling as if we're not as important at the time. And then now I'm getting all these phone calls from sales reps right now just because their inventory's sitting. So, that this is the opportunity to get a good deal. I mean, I got people calling me and saying, just put an offer in. And, that means you drop that price, to get real aggressive to get a deal on some of these properties. So, I mean, we're talking to a lot of sales reps. We're in dialogue with a lot of sales reps. So we know when houses are being built or falling through. with all the new guidelines and regulations, everything's changing. So something that could have been approved in the middle of a build 3 months ago is no longer available to purchase that house. So when things like that happen, we're the first ones to get that phone call, and we know where the new construction houses are sitting and where we can get a good deal on things.
Yeah, and interesting, even this week, I've just received 2 emails from builders. One was offering some incentives, and the other one was about some price adjustments on spec homes. So that's, that's just a little indication of maybe not as strong of prices out there right now. So,
Right.
yeah.
Bob, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say that, I think there's good opportunities abound, right? There can be opportunities in any market. But maybe some of the changes that Terrance mentioned, I think that we will see builders take on some more inventory homes from people that either got furloughed or lost their jobs, and so they fell apart after they've started. So that might not have originally been planned as a market-ready home or a spec home. We'll see some of those come on the market. The other thing too, you may have been home for the last 5 weeks and made the decision that it's time to get a new space. Right.
Right.
So it's a good time for that at the end of the day, right? There still is really strong demand for certain price point homes in our market. So if you've been feeling a little tight in your space, and maybe even before this started, you were thinking about getting a little bit bigger space, moving up, is really a good time to have that conversation and really think about that seriously.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, yeah.
Anything else that you guys want to add? Any last comments or anything else that you want to add before we end here?
I would just say reach out, right? Give us a call. If you have any questions at all about new construction, let's get on the computer and meet virtually at least, right? There's lots of ways that we can still get out and do things in person as needed as well. But if it's something you're thinking about, now is a really good time to act. So pick up the phone, give one of us a call, and let's talk about it and see if we can put a good match together for you.
Because I could guarantee those salespeople are eager to get our phone calls right now, for sure. Right, Terrance?
Yeah.
That's right.
That's
Terrance,
right.
any last thoughts? Anything you
I think
want
we hit it. Bob hit it on the head. 317-39.
to? Okay.
There we
Give
go.
us a call.
Well,
we're happy to carry you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, we just want to thank everybody for watching. We hope that this has shed a little bit of light. If you do have any questions, obviously we're just a phone call, email, text away. So please reach out to us. And, you may know of a friend or a relative that this video might be good for. So please feel free to share it. Share it on your Facebook, share it with your friends. We'd love to help it be a resource to anybody else that you might know or love or trust and want to help. So I think that's it. We just look forward to being of service and helping you or your family or whoever it might be in their next potential move. And if that involves new construction, let us help you make the right, wise choices in that potential future for you and your family. So
Yep, absolutely.
thanks so much for joining us. And as always,
Make each moment count.
count.
Have
Bye-bye.
a great day.
Bye, guys. Thanks, guys. Thanks
See
for
ya.
being